PSY-POD, PSY-POD.
Just it's a hobby. It's not my income. If this ever becomes my full-time job, they will get all that Marcus Brownie shit. MQBH. Okay, anyways, I think we can start. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. We are back with another episode of the PSY-POD during this lockdown time, and this is PSY-POD number 23. And if this is the first time you're watching this podcast, apologies, but this is a podcast about absolutely nothing, and I'm always joined by my my co-host Kinley.
Hola, 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 Kuzampo.
And today we have our guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, or would you like one of us to introduce you, Jurmey?
I'll let one of you surprise me.
Okay, Kinley's always good at this introductions. Yeah.
So today we have Miss Jurmey CR. You might have, and you can, Jurmey CR she's a musician. She's very popular. She's done a lot of songs with M Studio. I would consider her a P-pop idol at this point. She's one of the actors for Gangnam Girls. That's probably where you've seen her. And yeah, so this, welcome Jurmey, and we are very happy to have you. We've actually had you on our radar for a while, but it's kind of been hard to get a hold of you the past few days.
But luckily nobody's moving anywhere these days. So.
Yeah, with lockdown.
So we got it. So hello, thanks for Jurmey for joining us. I see you're in the back in the city lights, in the middle of the Timpu town with skyscrapers apparently out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what you been up to, Jurmey, then, Naba, ever since lockdown started?
Mostly just trying to be sane because mostly trying to set alarms, wake up and eat and do things on time and just keep some consistent habits going so I don't totally lose it.
Being sane has been really difficult for me as well, but thanks to my friend here, Dorji's been really helpful. And, he's really kept my sanity going. So I actually understand being sane can be quite an issue during lockdown.
Who's your friend Doji you're talking about right now?
Yeah, how is Doji?
Doji, he's right here. He's behind me. Can't you see him? He's here.
Now I get it. I'm always late to these fucking jokes. Okay. But actually one big problem for me also is like keeping a good schedule, waking up on time, sleeping on time.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of have a hard time with that as well.
What's your morning routine like, Jurmey? Like, what time do you get up? What do you do? Like, everyone has to have some ritual happening at this point.
So I've been better the second half of the lockdown. I've actually been getting up at around 9 a.m. Just freshening up. I'll drink some tea, contemplate, and then make a to-do list and do what I can, then watch my Korean drama and sleep. So not very exciting, but...
You seem to be falling in the same trap that all of us are. You would think that during lockdown, you would actually do a lot more productive things, but it's the exact opposite all the time. It's very difficult to be productive.
That's right. And it's kind of hard to... I'm a really social person. So it's kind of hard to find motivation when I'm alone.
How's your mornings been, Sai? What are you doing in the mornings?
I don't wake up on mornings. I wake up in the afternoon.
Really?
Not really afternoon, but okay. Yeah, it is afternoon. I wake up around 12 to 1 bana. Because I wake up... Usually I would wake up around 9 and I'll check if there's emails or some work things to do, but then there'll be nothing. So then I'll just sleep until 12. Yeah. Then I'll eat my lunch and then I'll do whatever is required. But then it kind of fits in line because I'm trying intermittent fasting, So I fast. My fast starts at 1. So I'm like, I'll just wake up and eat rather than just wake up and do nothing. And I really enjoy sleep. So people say, you sleep like 20 years of your life. It's like 20 years well spent. Yeah, I really love sleeping.
Yeah. Nothing better for you.
I love it. Beauty sleep. I don't know if it's for beauty sleep or anything, but I just you just wake up now and you have a delicious nap. I don't know if you've experienced a delicious nap, but when you wake up and go back to sleep, that's the best sleep.
I can't do that.
That's what it's called.
Huh? What's it called, bro?
Minang Jimpo pa.
Minang Jimpo.
I didn't know. I didn't understand. I didn't get
That's
that before. Yeah.
delicious sleep, basically.
No, I didn't know there was a term for that. Yeah.
I don't know if
there is. It's just something I've said.
but it does sound nice because like Minang Jimpo. Did you guys ever have this happen to you? Like, sometimes you fall asleep in the afternoon, no?
Uh-huh.
Like, so I have a habit of waking up really early. I get up at around 6 to 7 Gibana, and then I make tea, I do all my work, whatever I need to do my morning rituals. And sometimes what happens is I'll fall asleep at 2 in the afternoon and I'll wake up at 5. I have the worst case of existential crisis when I wake up at that point because that nap completely throws my sanity off. I'll wake up, I'll literally be like, where am I? Who am I? What is going on?
Yeah, I tend to wake up angry as well.
I get really irritated when I've taken a nap and I get up in the afternoon.
Yeah, but that's not a nap, no. That's actual sleep. There. When it's more than an hour, then it becomes like you follow under, I think, REM sleep. No, not really REM, but then like light sleep. So I heard that there was this video on Vox. There's a channel called Vox on YouTube. So they were telling about sleepy pattern. So if you don't actually sleep without an alarm, wake up without alarm, it's very healthy, brother. But it will change your your workflow. So usually they say around if you wake up at around 8 a.m., usually around the afternoon between 3 to 4 to 5 p.m., that is where you're most productive lower there. So depending on what time you wake up and what time you sleep, after a certain period of hours, you get that good window where you're most productive lower there. So people who tend to work at the night, they probably must be waking up quite, later, so something like that. So people get used to that productive hour lower there. And for me, I feel like I like mornings. I really like mornings, but I just hate to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
No, exactly. We got it.
Sometimes I stay up till 6 a.m. I hear the birds chirping and I see the nice dawn breaking and I'm like, okay, good night, everyone. It's time to sleep.
This is in Calcutta. It's amazing, but in Calcutta at 1 p.m. exactly, all the suburb shopkeepers will close, vegetable vendors will go home, and from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. they will sleep every day.
Why 1 p.m. to 6 p.m.?
Because it's really hot and you do not want to be operating around that time. But I don't know if that's the reason. That's one reason that somebody told me. But every day, without fail, exactly at 1 p.m., everything will close, except maybe the main city area. But like where we were living or where you're living in the suburbs, even like vegetable vendors will close down and they will sleep for 5 hours.
But won't that be like the prime lunch hour?
Everyone's sleeping if you're in the suburbs.
Okay, I don't know. Some food for thought. But then again, even in wintertime, won't it be a little less hot?
They still sleep.
Okay, maybe but they're awake all night, maybe, right? Selling stuff.
Up till 10, 11.
Wow.
That's a really weird
I want to
kind
go
of...
to a vendor in Calcutta.
Yeah, in Calcutta is like I love Calcutta, and it's probably because I've lived there for 5 years, but like I love Calcutta. It's one of my favorite places, and it's cheap. It's one of the best places to live. Food is really cheap. Food's good.
Nice.
Rent is cheap as well. If you're living in the suburb areas, like if you're comparing it to Delhi and stuff, then my God. But anyway. So yeah, Gangnam Girls recently went to the Nepal Film Festival, right, Jurmey?
Yes.
It got picked up for Nepal. So congratulations on that. Tell us a little bit about the Gangnam Girls experience.
So I never thought I'd be acting ever. I think when I did my first music videos, I realized I actually enjoyed it. But I didn't think I would ever be in a movie. Especially because of beauty standards in Bhutan.
Okay.
So I never thought I'd be in a movie in Bhutan because there's just a specific look that...
The kitty looks here.
Yeah, to fit the role. There's there are nuances of one specific look. So I never thought I'd be doing it here, but I'm so grateful to Samu for starting up something that's totally different from anything we've ever had, and for Jeremy for thinking of real characters. Like, so the Gangnam Girls are four girls that I think a lot of people can relate to at least one of them. So these are real characters. They're not perfect kitties. They're not, uh, you know, there's nothing too glamorous about it. These are just, it's just sort
Flawed.
of, yeah.
How did you get casted, by the way?
So our director met all of us at different restaurants and bars, and then he just came up to us and said, "Oh my God, you are this." So I met Sammy when I was having dinner, and she just came up to me.
Oh, such a
And I was like, okay.
yeah, such a very I guess that's good cool story. Yeah, Mo. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought there would be some
Yeah.
like I thought she would know you prior to casting, and then she's like, oh, I think I know some. I think I know someone who I can cast for this role. So no, but then she just
I
met you. So yeah.
mean,
Uh,
I mean,
I was
we've
about to say,
known each other,
Okay.
or we've known of each other as well, but we
Mm.
never really like. I think we became close after the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apart from Ajim said, I think are you guys all the first timers, right? Acting.
Yes, but Kelly had a role in a Bhutanese film before.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's Grande and my first film.
Okay. All right.
well, I have to say the acting is really good. I did enjoy your acting. I like that it's not the typical. You know where I'm going with.
Mhm, mhm.
You understand what I mean by the typical. Even the language is something that I think one thing that I've always struggled with Bhutanese movies is the language. That
That's
it doesn't seem relatable, and I love it when the language is relatable
I mean,
because nobody actually talks like that in real life.
but on the other hand, there are people who would prefer like a pure Dzongkha correct kind of
Yeah.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get.
I guess for us to deliver, that was the most easy and effective way.
Mm.
I mean, it's more important to get the message across, no, than how well you said it. It's more like what did you say rather than how well you said it.
No, I think there's audience for everybody. There are films which are for
Yeah,
these
true.
people who want to watch very culturally accurate, Zongkha, Nyakchang. And there's some people like maybe like more like us who are in this newer demographic who wants to watch something more relatable. So I think we fall under this category. Because I remember last time when we shared one of the our sketches of our show on Facebook, and there was a comment saying that, yeah, it was interesting, but I just don't like how they are speaking Zonglish and saying kuzu 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 is not actually a word, or like someone was typing in full Zonka comment like shen khal hap rang kha ja, how like stereotypical uncle kind of quotes. So I'm saying like I think they are like what you call content for those kind of people, but for I think the Gangnam Girls was actually for this kind of a newer audience which you told me.
I mean, at the same time, it's like you said, there are always different kinds of content, right? Like there's always going to be different modes of communication, and people are allowed to like what they like. I just don't like that a lot of them demand that it should be in that way. Like theirs should be the taste that, a lot of them have to be, they're very aggressive about that opinion.
That I think in any form, then you can get this kind of what called
Yeah.
extreme.
Yeah, that's what I'm
people,
saying.
no?
These
Any
aggressive
kind-
opinions is.
But I don't know if I'm right or wrong. But before Samu and before COVID, like the majority of the audiences of typically Bhutanese films were Gelongs lo, Gelong. So a lot of Gelongs were their target market lo. I'm not sure if that is right. But then again, if you look at reality TV shows, oh shit, what happened? Oh shit, okay. I thought we got
What?
stuck for a minute there. Sorry. So like I was saying, like reality TV shows, no, like Voice of Bhutan or Rookstar is very popular. They make a lot of money, like considering a small economy, and it's all supporting from the people who like this culturally accurate, the showcase of our culture and Dzongkha, Riksa, Beda, Jungda, which majority of like people in the Thimphu or maybe in the urban areas like Paro and Pinsting might not enjoy. But then you can see the vast majority do enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's all about balance. I think people have to ultimately realize that if a culture doesn't adapt, it goes extinct. So, in order
Exactly.
for culture to thrive, and I'm sure every single Bhutanese wants their culture to thrive. We want to keep it going because it's a beautiful culture, but by putting it in one small box and making sure it doesn't move is not going to sustain it far enough.
I think one good example would be you did a Bedra song, right? In a more bebopish manner.
Oh yeah, that was for exercise.
Yeah, but
Zumba?
that's what I'm trying to say, right? It's a Bedra song which has been given a modern twist, and that's how you keep your culture and tradition relevant,
Exactly.
But
So maybe
then,
back in the day, yeah. So maybe back in the day when it was sung in that way, Bhutanese people were singing it that way while herding cows and doing nothing. And now Bhutanese people go to the gym and work out. So
Yeah.
let's
That's
put the song there and change it up. So it's all about
yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of good way of putting it also, yeah. But then the old timers will always like their way, and we'll like it our way.
yeah.
But I
And
think
maybe we'll be the
I mean,
same way.
even
maybe
it's going
maybe
to be the
20 years we're
same.
like back in my day, we
Yeah.
had nice bebop. What is this bullshit, computer
Yeah.
music.
Probably.
I mean, I sometimes I catch myself doing that a few times, and I have to remind myself that I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Kinley is a very strict metalhead. Would you say?
Yeah.
No, not the metalhead thing.
What?
More about certain things that are happening
Okay.
with the current with younger people, which I don't understand, and I have to remind myself that what I did when I was in my teen years, my parents did not understand either. So I have to give them that empathy just as much as I got it from my parents.
Yeah.
But it's a repetitive circle, no? Like I was watching, I wasn't watching, but I remember I watched a movie about like Elvis documentary or something. And then when he first came to prominence, there was no one who sounded like him, no. And then the parents back in the 50s like, this is the devil's music. You can't listen to the devil's music. How can he say he wants to hold your hand? That means how dare he. Like so there was always like rebellious, like something or music or whatever back. It always existed.
Yeah.
But
That's
luckily, we don't
true.
have very rebellious music in Bhutan. No more.
It's slowly coming up now. I'm kind of
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah. But they are pop. In terms of pop, yeah, I really enjoy bebop now. I have like a whole playlist on YouTube, and I keep like listening. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm not listening because I want to keep the culture alive and shit. I genuinely enjoy listening to it. But then so which good
So
good
speaking of
segue.
which,
Yeah, Lapskile.
yeah, I was about to say, speaking of which, is Jurmey working on any new music?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm working on my next original.
Ooh.
And for the first time, this is an original not written by me. So it's written by, it's not an, so this song was written by a friend from Gangnam Girls. So she was our makeup artist. So she wrote
Oh,
some nice lyrics. And I
she's a
got the music
lyricist.
from, yeah, and I got the music from a friend, Ugenzi Music.
Okay.
So this is something that has come to me, and I got the opportunity to sing on it. But
Oh,
yeah, it's
cool.
totally different from my style. They really like anime, both of them. So you
Oh, yeah.
kind of hear that in the song.
So it's like a pop ballad, Zumchina.
Yes, and
Okay.
it's in Shashop and English.
Okay, cool. Something new.
Nice.
And have you done the whole production, or is it like on process?
So the song is done. We're going to work on the video soon.
Cool.
Any do you think you can give us like a snippet teaser right now? If you have
Do
a song,
do you want to listen to it?
Yeah, why not?
not
Exclusive, world
like yeah,
exclusive
first time
SY-POD,
listen.
Jurmey CR's latest Shashopa Changla Shabda.
Yes.
Let's
What's
go.
it called though?
Oga de Nibu.
Where are
Or
you?
all of
Ah,
Where are
there's
you, boy?
is
wherever you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Chotoma.
Chotto Matelu, she's speaking Japanese. Oh, it's on your phone. Okay, maybe.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
The louder you speak, the less I hear. It's hard to understand what you're saying to me. I know deep down you mean well, but all you do is fill me with fear. And I'm trying not to mold myself, trying to fit the picture. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to see what things couldn't be. So I'll just play the chorus, which will go on TikTok, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's got a very anime vibe too. Anime vibe.
Yeah.
It's got the anime, like,
Opening.
closing. I was thinking more closing.
No, I was thinking more opening. Yeah, opening title.
No, it works as an opening title if you're thinking of like a rom-com anime.
Yeah.
This is probably for me the song that comes on when they're both running away hurt.
Okay, that works too.
Decent,
Definitely not something you would hear on Attack on Titan, though.
No.
Your name kind of vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kimi Noah. Did you guys
I
watch that?
remember. Yes.
I've never watched it. I've just heard so much about it that I know.
Watched it so long
Why
ago.
I enjoy watching that movie is I watched it in Japan only, and in the train lines they were using. I was using it also. I was like, oh shit, I was using those. Very accurate to how it looks like. Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Which one? This music. Yeah. Sounds very new.
Yeah.
And Jurmey, the thing is, you have a very international kind of voice. Yeah. Like if someone played any of your songs, if you sung it in English, I would never think you were some Bhutanese artist. Yeah. What makes
really?
you think? What makes you think? Your sound is like that.
I think because I have a deeper voice than most female artists.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Bhutan, but since there's only been a few others with deeper voice, lower voices. Normally, it's the sharp, very pretty tone that you hear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like most Bhutanese films always have that very high, like in the upper register singing.
yeah, and I've been to film recordings where the music producer would literally ask me like, "How are you going to sing this? You are lower than the boy part." So.
But this is your sound. No? It makes you very distinctive. Like you can instantly recognize your voice. But then also does it come to production also? Like, how when you sing it in like production, no? Do you design it like a certain like this like?
That really depends on what the client wants. So sometimes the client makes me write the lyrics fully, compose the tune. Sometimes it's already ready. I just have to go there and sing. But I think that's when they get the most shocked because they do write it for quite a high voice.
Oh, imagining that. Yeah, to twist it a bit. Okay.
Yeah. So
I think like I've always I've had this conversation with Jurmey a few times also, but I've always said that I love the fact that you have a lower register in your voice, which again, not something you would hear a lot of Bhutanese female singers doing. But at the same time, I've always I know this kind of sounds a little from my part, like I've always loved when you used to do covers of a lot of jazz singers, Adele, that sort of genre has always like my head always hears you singing that stuff.
Yeah, I think I've kind of lost that recently. It's getting more into, but then I want to keep doing all kinds of genres.
Yeah. I understand that completely. No, but it's like the first time I heard you, I remember the first thing I told her was I think it was that I would really love to hear you do something in jazz and blues.
So, Jurmey, what was the first song you released to M Studio? I think it was right M Studio Malera.
Yes.
So, what was the first song you released?
The first time I ever recorded anything and released it was a live cover though. It wasn't mixed. It was just a live cover. I did it with Jamyang Rinchen. He did the game. So
shout out to Juno Studio.
Which we're on right now. What are you doing? You cannot shout out your studio when you're uploading it on the same channel.
No, then subscribe to Juno Studio there.
Okay. Sorry. You were saying?
So yeah, it was a cover of "I Have Nothing" by Whitney Houston.
Oh,
So that was the first ever recording.
I have nothing. I know that song. Yeah, I forgot how it goes.
I have nothing, nothing.
I know the chorus part in the beginning, Michelle. But they always sing it on American Idol. I always find out. I always find it.
Yeah, I heard it on X Factor first time.
Okay.
Well, if you're going to go to a singing show and you're going to audition, and Whitney Houston is a really strong song to start off with, because that woman had like really amazing songs and her vocal talent's quite great. So it sort of makes sense that you would try to sing that during an audition, to already give the judges an idea of what sort of a singer you are.
To really wow them.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 16 or 17. I just come back home. So,
Okay. Come back home from where?
From Australia after high school.
You're living there? Or?
Yeah, I lived there for my high school.
So like how many? 4 years?
Yeah, for 4 years.
Oh, okay. Which part? I didn't know. Fun fact.
I lived in an ikha called Armadale. It's literally a little town with like 20,000 people.
Oh,
so I Google it.
Yeah.
Let's Google it and find out. Spell it. Everyone's in Australia for some bloody reason.
ARMI.
Oh, like armadillo, like the animal?
Armadillo. I think that's armadillo, the animal.
Oh, armadillo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but close enough.
We have so many Bhutanese people living in Nika sides of Australia. So, how was the what do you call the accent back there? Very typical Australian. Different.
So, the people who live there have a different accent to those who live in the cities. These are like Jurmey, right? So you call them Bergens, like Aussie Bergens.
Bogan, I was about to say Bogan.
I mean, of course, they're educated and very cool people there as well, but there is a huge population of Bergens.
So how come you don't have any accent of Australia? For 4 years, I thought at least a subtle bit of Australian twang will come in.
I really tried. I tried my best to extinguish it when I came back. I came back. I left my university down there and came back because I got a scholarship from RTC. So I was like, great, I don't have to pay for my fees. Amazing. So I came back. And then I had a really strong accent because I worked in customer care in Australia. So, I mean, I had to work. And then I came back, and RTC Nalu, I think that's when I started getting noticed a lot for it, and a lot of people getting annoyed by it.
Oh, so it's been so you had to work hard to make it go away a little bit. So you did have a little accent.
I think I had a very strong, obnoxious, not the pretty ones, not the pretty kind of ones. Yeah.
Can we get a little taste? I want to hear it.
Mate.
Oh wow, that's very strong. No, but that's very typical. No, like let's just say like, hi, my name is Jurmey. I'm from Bhutan. Aussie accent.
Hi, my name is Jurmey. I'm from Bhutan.
I don't know. Oh, that's really strong. Yeah.
It's not as strong as Steve Irwin. I'm sorry.
It's not as strong as it was before. So I guess I worked hard and well not to irritate people with it.
But yeah, more. Like for you, it's understandable. You said 4 years there, no. But then if anyone comes around and starts talking like that, we'll be like, "What the fuck?"
No, but No, but then I do get annoyed by accents, but I'm more annoyed by put-on accents. Like for a fact that this person does not speak like that actually, and that they're putting on an accent. Yeah. That annoys me more than somebody who's actually lived somewhere and has naturally picked up the accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we get a lot of Bhutanese people who like.
Go to Australia.
No, not just that. Like, who's lived their whole lives in Bhutan, but then when they like Dzongkharalap or Shashulap or whatever they want to speak with their friends, but then when they get the opportunity to speak English, maybe if they're drunk or not, then they'll have this accent all of a sudden.
That's what the put-on accents. You for a fact that they don't talk like that, and they're just doing it on purpose. That's more annoying.
But I have one friend who lived a whole life in Bhutan, but then she's been consuming a lot of Western media. So when she speaks English, it sounds like she's brought up in like the US. Yeah.
I think for me, I had to learn it because when I was working on the phone, when I was working in customer service, I literally could not communicate without putting on an Aussie accent.
Yeah.
So, and I think I started with like drive-throughs at Burger Point. It's called Humvees in Australia. So with all of that, I had to firstly learn how to speak like that, make it a habit, and then I had to learn how to not speak like that. So
That's interesting more. But yeah, I remember like
What was your name? Because usually with customer care, you'd have to change your name, no? If they think you can't pronounce your name.
oh, I never think I would always say Jurmey or Jur.
Jur.
Oh, okay.
But
Jamie,
then
they
again,
pop.
it's not very hard name to pronounce. No, Jurmey. Kinley also is very easy. For me, it was very difficult. Everywhere I went, I had to pronounce my name.
Yeah, that's true. My brother had your name. Has your name.
Songs, yeah.
Had your name.
Had
Your
my
name.
name.
When you were in Australia.
Not
Had.
anymore.
Doesn't
Not
no.
anymore.
No.
Renounce.
That's it.
Because but I remember like even Australian accent, like I'm okay with accents, but I cannot make an Australian accent. It must be very difficult now. Only thing I know how to say is rise up lights. That's all I know.
Rise of Lights.
Rise up lights.
Yeah.
Rise up lights. Yeah, nah.
You know, mate.
That's the only thing I know how to say.
I think Steve Irwin was single-handedly responsible for the Australian accent stereotype.
Actually, it's not just an accent. Also, it's a completely different language in itself. So there's a lot of terminology that I couldn't understand when I first moved there.
Okay, like.
So, like, make it chockers or choco blocks.
Oh,
so
what the hell does that mean?
That means like fill it up to the top.
Okay, and what's the historical context
Why
of
wouldn't
that?
you-
I have no idea. I just
Choco.
didn't understand, and then I understood. And then there's also chakayui
Oh, what is that?
to do a U-turn.
Chakayui. Wow.
Oh, Yui.
Oh, I think it means like chaka means like slang, like take a U-turn.
Like, yeah, like check
Like-
it out. Like,
Yeah, more like chakayui. Yeah, I get the context. More.
there's a whole bloke, Sheila, all
Yeah.
these words.
Sheila, I know Sheila. I watch Aussie Man reviews. No, he always says, "There's Sheila over here."
Yeah. So
The Sheila.
Sheila's
it's
a woman, no?
quite another world. Sheila is a woman. A bloke is a man.
Okay, bloke. Yeah.
I mean, everything is short, like Macca's, Servo.
Corn on the Barbie. Do you use that?
I've never actually heard anyone say like put a shrimp on the Barbie, and so I think that one's actually an exaggerated myth.
I think that comes more from Western media.
about
Probably from
Vegemite?
Australia. Oh, Vegemite. No.
Vegemite.
I had some Australian friends who had Vegemite in their kitchen. I tried it. I did not like it.
So you're supposed to try the tiniest bit with butter in Mabatep, whereas when I first tried it, I went in with a whole spoon. So scarred for life.
I'll come later 7:30.
Yeah, Kati, what happened? Sorry,
dinner
Kati
time.
only 7:30 now.
Don't worry. Don't worry. My dinner time in my house fluctuates. Sometimes it's 6:30, sometimes it's 7:30. Then they always change.
I haven't had dinner yet. But anyway, yeah. So now, what are some things you're working on besides the music, Jurmey? What are you planning to have any projects in the works? Any new movies? Any new creative endeavors?
So I can't tell you a lot because I'm still working on it and I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I've started my own thing finally. It's called YLM, Yalama Studio.
Oh, I saw like posts on Facebook and IG. So that's your page, what?
Yeah, so it is.
Okay.
So for now, I'm just trying to work on building the page, but I wanted to create a platform where Bhutanese people could just, especially Bhutanese youth, could just find relatable things. So something educational and fun for the Bhutanese youth, especially for those in the urban areas.
Okay.
I think
Cool.
our media, we really romanticize the rural experience and we represent all these stories and things, but real life fun stuff is what I'm going for.
So is it going to be a page where you're going to make videos or is it going to share stories? What is it?
it's just going to be all things that make you go yalama, whether
Ooh.
that's a happy yalama or a sad yalama.
Okay,
But
cool.
we've actually done videos so far. I've done a short one on our YouTube. It's about ASL, BSL, Bhutanese
Oh,
Sign
there's
Language.
Bhutanese sign language also. What?
Yeah, so
How do you
I
say
did a video.
doma?
Plot?
How do you say doma more? That'll be one word.
But I don't know.
There's a bit by Russell Peters like saying that American Sign Language is very racist. No, like when you say Mexican, this is the Mexican. No,
Poncho.
no, like long mustache and poncho.
Yeah.
And then this is how you say Jewel. Another one is this one.
This
I'm
one.
not sure if this is true, but in Russell Peters joke, he says like that.
Yeah. But shit, BSL, I just learned thank you, but I think that's in every other.
Yeah, and I love you. I think I know also this one. And then clapping, no, clapping.
Isn't this I love you?
Yeah. And this is clapping, no.
Is this
Yeah, this is clapping.
jazz hands?
So there's a video on that.
Okay, we'll plug that.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So
That's about it, yeah.
I'm just working on that for now.
So is it like you're doing like you're making like proper videos and you're also doing like will you be doing like vlog content as well?
Yep. So I think anything that falls under digital content will go there as long as because I realize I can't put my finger down on what exactly I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things.
Okay.
So I have nothing better than content.
Okay, so Jurmey, you mentioned that time before we started the pod that you're into gender studies more.
Mm-hmm,
So in college, what did you study in college?
I did political science and sociology.
So yeah, something to do with gender studies.
Yeah.
So I remember last couple of weeks ago, I think in Women's Day time, you released a song, no, with Women's Day challenge or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like enjoyed it's kind of catchy. What was it called?
Sataseta. That's the name.
Bumisi Tsemata. I was like, oh shit.
Minori Temata.
So did you compose the song?
No. So the song was composed a long time ago by Ajim.
Okay.
She's from M Studio.
Okay.
She does the
Zomba
fitness. So yeah, Ajim is a very cool and empowered woman who actually the brain behind a lot of our videos and songs. So she's like this silent assassin.
So was it like
she's
a reprise or like
she's
a sampled version of that song? What is it?
So we recorded the song a while back. I think we never got around to posting it. So I think lockdown time now, it was a very good time to post it on
Women Day time more. I thought it was kind of catchy, yeah. For especially good timing for Women's Day more.
Yes, Ajimdi is really good at composing and writing.
Okay, so even the other song, like what was it for? Like the thing you guys did with Sang Chopal and that what is that word?
The Red Dot Challenge one?
No, the thing.
Ola Tamata.
That was ad for what? I forgot that place.
That was an ad for Genzang.
Genzang, yeah. So that song also is the thing. No, it's an old song. No, the Boom Tamata.
Yeah, it's
that part. Just the chorus.
Yeah, so you sampled it more, basically.
Yeah. So I heard that song just actually while I was writing that song, I heard someone else sing it, and then I thought I could just use one paragraph.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of like getting you to know. Like, I don't know if you, I think you should know because you're a musician. But then sampling is like kind of like I haven't seen much sampling, until I heard your song. Then I remembered like, oh, my mom told me like this was an old song back in her time, and she used to when she grew up, she heard that song over there, and you kind of made it incorporated into a modern kind of context. No, so when you do that, you need to get permission from the original composer and shit like that, or just you can just do it.
Normally I should, but then at this point I couldn't find who the original composer was. So
did they come forward after the song came out?
Yeah, so I mean, normally even if I'm singing like the CPM song on BBS or something like that, I would get her permission.
Okay.
For this one, I just couldn't. So, but there is a line just before it that states that it's not written by me. It literally goes like. Yeah. Himakishata, thank you, sure. But then now everyone in the comments like, why are you not wearing, not a single Bumtang Mata was worn in this video? And I'm like, I
No.
literally said, thank you, sure. Like, so, yeah.
At least
No,
we're doing like a genius kind of episode of, I think, PSY-POD. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun times.
I think, yeah.
No, but that's what I mean again, like that's how you keep your culture alive, by incorporating it in modern ways where people then, I'm sure a lot of people went back and looked for that song because it sort of triggered something in them that would be like, oh, I haven't heard this in a long time. And you go back to the source, and I think that's the whole idea of how you make sure that your culture keeps going forward by adapting it with the times.
Exactly. And that song is probably from the 90s, so I wouldn't really say it's a traditional song. Like, it has you can hear its regional influence, like, from the songs in the region. So.
Now, the next time you do a song for Genzang, you should add Pansi Kira Genmi Boom.
Yeah.
That's the next one you have to incorporate in there.
Yeah, that's a classic one also, OG.
Yeah.
But then, it's nice that Jurmey, although she spent 4 years down under, she still has a cultural kind of using the old school kind of inspirations in her songs. So at least you keep the culture alive. You should use some more old school stuff, like Kinley said, Pang Sikira, or maybe like my favorite one is like with me and Jamang, I always think is that tuku tuku hai. Oi.
I love that song. I think. I think I was just watching Bhutanese movies for the first time when I was not in Bhutan, and then like I had the songbook all in Dzongkha. It's all highlighted, so I was learning songs from that songbook all in Dzongkha. I don't know who published it, but yeah.
Another one was like, oi, Pumo, oi.
Oh yeah.
Was it oi or was it hey? Or was it? I don't know what the lyrics.
It's oi, Bumo,
oi.
Hey, man, yeah.
Hey, I don't know. See, that's the thing.
Hey, I've heard it as hoi.
Hoi.
But it would be nice, like, to hear this kind of thing.
I don't know who, but somebody told me that it was an Indian band that recorded the music for it, or somebody from India played the bass for that song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you actually listen to that song, it's got a really groovy bass line to it.
I love that song. Touch Rabke is iconic.
Yeah.
Classics.
Yeah.
And then there was this one awkward music, like the song was really fun. The music video was awkward as hell because all of them are in a bar and they just like oe oe oe.
That's a classic, yeah.
The song was really good. The video was weird.
Well, like a couple of last year, during one of my friend's birthdays, we had a big speaker. No, it was in his place, and then like my friend was being the DJ, so I was like, let's stroll a bit. No, I was playing all his old songs, like oi, Pumo, oi. And I thought I'd get a laugh. Last, everyone's turning up. Oh yes, this song. They're all like, the nostalgia effect.
Yeah, it's nostalgia because, I mean, even what's that? Kaka Ganga Dubia Lutsugi Love Me A B C D, something like that.
That's
that one. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The one which we can understand the hell he's saying. No.
Did you know?
Huh? What? Adam's
Apple. Yes, the band was called Adam's Apple. Yes.
Bhutan.
You know what I want?
He actually in the music video he shows his Adam's apple. Yeah. He actually points at it.
Yeah. It's a classic.
You know what we need to do? We need to find Tanuswana Memo Singardi. And we need to tell him to.
He's Samugi lawyer.
You need him to give us the lyrics for that song, because till this day we still don't know what he's saying in that first verse.
Yeah, I could subtitle it.
Bhutan. That's a good damn
but he's got it. Like he's really feeling it.
Yeah, he's owning it. No, Like he's not like shying away. He's going 100%.
Yeah. He's really.
I mean, it's. I would consider that Bhutan's original meme song.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna talk about meme history, then that is like the original meme song for Bhutan.
That's the equivalent of never gonna give you up.
Yep, yeah.
There should be, tanin sonam roles more. Actually, we need to send this to people.
Yeah.
Adam Apple
As soon as you think, as soon as they open it, the first thing that opens up is the rap part. Like in the middle of the song.
I really like it though because I watched the video again and then you can really tell like it was way ahead of its time. Some of the,
the shots.
but the blue filter with the avatar looking face was questionable, but it was really impressive.
No, but like I have to be honest, like maybe when I was a kid, I used to give it a lot of hell. But then now when you think about it, like much like how when I try to make my own music or whatever, like when we try to do things, we always want to do things which are new and different, right?
Yeah.
So back in that time, that was something that they were trying to do as well. And I can't really you have to respect that. Also.
Yeah, exactly. It's way ahead of its time. So.
But I did not know it was called Adam's Apple Band until like Sangeet Chopra told me no. Then I looked at the video again and I realized they're all wearing red like marks in their Adam Apple.
Yeah, they've got.
Yeah. So see, they've got creativity in costume.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of music industry, now let's talk about Jurmey's, you being a musician. So now, since 16, you've been singing Lomo. You must be probably doing gigs every now and then and maybe composing here and there. So how's that as a, as a career-wise? Has it been like, sustainable?
Fruitful?
If not, is it good as a, like a side hustle? And how has it been, the experience?
A lot of senior artists told me when I first started singing that this cannot be your full-time job. You cannot make a living out of it. So you can enjoy it, but you always need another job to back it up. For some reason, I haven't really found that accurate. Perhaps things have changed in the last few years. So I've always found that my music gave me more than any other job that I'd done. But at the same time, I understand it's not a sustainable thing. But yeah, it's been fun because you learn, you set your own rate, you define your own market, you write what you want, you share a similar interest of music with the people you work with. So it's much more rewarding. I think it's more than just how much you get for it. But and even in terms of challenges, I think it's more challenging than doing any other job.
Oh, okay. So what do you see for the future of the Bhutanese music industry? What do you think is going to happen?
I think if you look at the Bhutanese music industry, we have outdone ourselves in every era. If you listen to, we have like 3 different genres before bebop and rap and all of that even came in. And we've had people like Abdaupe who have been perfecting it for so long. And then even in the
King
80s,
Sonam, who's like trying right now.
Yeah, and even in the 80s and 90s, like every song that's come out it's just been so good for that time, considering how much technology and resources we have. And now I don't know, I'm totally in love with the music industry in Bhutan and everything that's happening. It's so exciting, like all the rappers, the dancers. So I just think it'll get even better. Bhutanese youth are really talented.
But I think they should be like a management team, because last time I was doing some, watching a video. So back in the Western music industry, people used to sell CDs, hard copies of their music. That'll make them the money lower there. Like you can send like a couple of million copies of their albums, and they make a lot of money. But now it has been, the streaming industry. You get very little amount of songs you stream, and people hardly buy, albums or from iTunes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Just buy that shit from either stream it on YouTube or on Spotify or whatever, streaming service. People nowadays.
And it's always pirated. People just download it easily off. It's not like Hema, no, where the internet wasn't that great, where you could literally. But now with what's happened,
technology.
I think if I could echo the voices of other artists right now, especially the younger artists, the whole problem with not getting anything from, the online platforms and from online streaming, it is problematic, but that's not even the main issue right now. I think firstly, we just need a lot of I think we just need proper policy in place and people to understand that you cannot own a reality show which is making lots of
Oh,
money.
the copyrights.
Just play somebody's song, don't even ask them for permission,
Oh,
and not
True.
well. Like
okay, I
you
get what you're
cannot,
saying. Yeah. So there
yeah, you
should be
can't just
some,
get
yeah.
your contest. Yeah, exactly.
There should be some
You can't.
protection for the producers and the music content, music
No,
industry.
it's also like, for example, karaoke bars in Thimphu, they use a
Yeah,
lot of Bhutanese music, but the artists don't see any money out of that.
exactly.
Radio stations play a lot of Bhutanese artists' music, but they don't see a penny out of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we've become so used to that if you suddenly implement rules like that, no, everything will like just again. There's this chance of things just collapsing again,
So
because
that's why I'm kind of saying
yeah,
let's start with permission.
Mm,
yeah, permission is
okay.
Permission and credit. Just
Yeah.
so
But
just
then
be
yeah,
like,
there should be some, like
yeah.
some policies for that to be put, no,
So
make it
I'll
like,
work super hard on a song, uh, you know, have it out there, and then the anchor will just be like, the luje ani di puni ila kadiche, like who is the luje by gagi tente mo kadive zozo mo kondu dite ka ani che minuwa. So
I see. So personally have any of your like songs that you've composed, or you've sang, been on these reality TV shows, and they've been sung
oh
by
yeah,
covered by other people?
a lot of times actually even covering is okay. Like the is when you're literally playing that song and dancing on it or using it in
yeah.
as background score. At least
You would at least appreciate
my
the
name
permission.
down or yeah, or ask me if it's okay. But I know it's a long way to get there, so
Okay.
I think it's important.
Like
Copyright laws
like I
matter
don't know
also.
how. Yeah, but now I think Samugi Benidigi copyright is slowly sinking into people because recently Samu took somebody to court, no, for copyright infringement because they had uh, filmed something that was owned by Samu, one of the
Mm,
movies which was being licensed by Samu. So now this should sort of tell people like, you know, we've been so used to. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the Bhutanese entertainment industry is a product of piracy.
yeah, exactly. I
That's what
mean,
I mean. So if we suddenly demand it to change,
yeah,
it'll
exactly.
collapse. But you have to
Exactly.
like gradually bring it in and then get rid of the whole piracy thing, of course. But again, piracy to a level cannot be completely defeated because let's be honest, how many of us download movies off the internet and watch it more?
Yeah, but
That's
then
going to happen.
it's a very Asian, South Asian, Indian, Bhutanese kind of thing. Because my friend in Canada, he said he uses like torrents to download shit like how we do
Mm,
here. But they get warnings, they get like your IP address has been detected that you've been doing suspicious activity like that. If you do it
mm,
again, we will we'll find you and we'll find you like shit like that. So they don't. That's all the streaming services like Netflix and Disney Plus. Like they are very like nice because you can actually watch it for in a fair way. No, while as for us, we don't give a
Yeah.
shit whether it's Disney Plus or Netflix. You can find some illegal site online and get it because there's no consequences
Yeah.
for us. No.
Yeah.
but like Ani, I understand now that like you cannot just tell somebody who's been doing that all their life not to.
No.
So for that kid who took Samu's content and for other people, like yeah, they have to learn at some point. But I think the priority right now as an artist is trying to ask
At
people who
least.
are in the industry, like you've been in this industry for twice the whole time I've lived in this world.
Mm.
So let us be the pioneers and kind of
Yeah, I think Achu Chewing also last time I talked to him, he was mentioning that because he's also been
yeah.
a big part in the music industry also. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think you guys as a collectively you guys should make a union as a as a music artist and then try to get this thing pushed forward because just standing by, I think it's not going to do much. And then these
Yeah.
entities need
So
to
we've
maybe
been
they'll
working.
just keep doing
I'll
their
be
thing.
honest though, Sai, I've been to 3 or 4 meetings where there's been talk of this union being created.
Sokpa zone sokpa zone today.
It has it just somehow or the other, somewhere it always seems to die out, like
You
it
guys need to
peters
Yeah.
out
unite
somewhere.
there. Like how these taxi drivers, man. These guys have a sokpa also, man.
No, unite. It's not that we don't want to unite, and I think we should, of course, unite. Like create, especially like now, like especially people in the film industry, people like who like in studio and all, who like,
Mhm.
their livelihood is built around music. So yeah, they would definitely have to unite and stuff. And I think now it's slowly coming up. But I'm just saying that in the past decade, in the past 10 years, from 2010 to 2020, I have been to so many of these meetings.
Okay, but not much.
And
So
it always peters out somewhere.
yeah, I think with what M Studio is trying to do, we're working closely with the DOIB to kind of relay the opinions of other artists so that they can incorporate it in their policy. And then at the grassroots ground level, we're just kind of bringing it up whenever we can, wherever we can, like how I am with this podcast and telling people,
Yeah. You should let people at least know about it, no?
yeah, let's give some respect to our artists.
Hashtag respect to our artists.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
And another thing is that a lot of, because I feel like one thing is that nothing to do with piracy here, but more to do with free content.
Yeah.
It's that because Bhutan, we've always gotten things for free, no? Majority of things got it for free. So now when a lot of these new platforms are coming up, people aren't willing to pay money actually, because again, we've become so used to getting things for free. People posting entire movies on YouTube, for example, Bhutanese movies on YouTube. Like I can go on YouTube right now and I can find full-on Bhutanese movies or on Facebook. So now again,
now some of them, someone has bought the copyright, no, so it's not YouTube anymore.
now but they're making noise about that also, no? Because a lot of people don't want to, again, we've just become so used to getting things for free or pay for stuff that it's sort of like that's going to be an obstacle to get across. But again, we can't do it slowly.
I think it's going to happen for sure, though. Because for sure, like everything's going to go in a digital way, and then sooner or later, people are going to get upset. Then, like how Jurmey in the music industry, you guys, if someone takes your shit without your permission and they profit out of that, of course you guys are going to be upset. And people, they might be upset, and then they might be like, okay, once or twice, but then if it keeps happening over and over again, then you guys will make enough noise that the shit cannot just fly.
Yeah, exactly. I think. Just let's start with education.
Yeah, let's educate everybody. I also didn't know like this has been happening.
The amount of, we are very good at doing awareness programs, so it's going to happen soon.
Yeah, so awareness is the first step. Okay.
Yeah.
So like I was going to that earlier point, so like how the music industry in the West is. So before they used to tour and then promote the album and sell the album and they'll get rich from that thing over there. So like independent people will start selling it and they'll get better profits, but they won't get much, pushed by the label to the radio shows and the TVs. Okay, but now these days you don't need the TVs, you don't need the radios because you can stream it. You can just shout it out on YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Okay, so in terms of getting the streaming is very easy over there, but you don't get much profit out of that. So now all these artists have reverted, like it's become the opposite. Let's see, so people like all these major artists, they make their money through touring over there. So they go on
it's touring.
they make a lot of money like that. But I don't see Bhutanese, artists kind of using that kind of, kind of module to, in terms of profitability, in terms of career. I see a few artists, they go around Zongkok. I think Crowners, I think they do that stuff. But then like
Kezang Dorji does that as well.
Yeah. So I think he does that also, which is good. So like Jurmey, like have you guys, done it? If not, do you plan on like, I think if you guys, unite all your P-pop guys because you guys got like a big, artist, you guys can make a, tour around every Zongkok. I think that'll, theoretically speaking, I think people will at least come and show and watch, man.
I think we've thought about it before, but I think with COVID right now, definitely not soon. We don't want to really bring everyone to Somzururu. But yeah.
But have you done a concert up until now, like with artists and everything?
Yeah, we've done one in Thimphu actually in 2018. It's called the Bebop Show. That was my first one.
Okay.
And last, because I think after that, COVID and everything, we couldn't do it.
So how was that turnout? People coming in terms of ratio, tickets?
It was amazing. So all the tickets were sold out and people were still coming in to, sit wherever they could in theater. So it was...
This was the local theater show, no?
Yeah. There were more than 500 people there.
You all had like a full-on like LED setup and everything also.
Yeah. So that was by DOIM. So
So yeah, I think like like see if that is successful in Thimphu, no, and I think you can do like multiple shows in Thimphu. You can do one in Lower Theatre, maybe one in Wide, one in RTC, and you go to like Zongkok to Zongkok. I think 500,
Yeah.
people easily you can get from each Zongkok, No, no. Theoretically, I'm
Probably.
saying.
I think if all the artists come together
Yeah, you
and
guys need to unite. Unite. You need a Tsokpa leader, yeah. Tsokpa leadership. Tsokpa zoning and leadership.
but so far for us at M Studio, Acho's always been very good at managing all of us and kind of guiding us through the process,
Hmm.
keeping it together.
It's kind of weird, but every time I meet Ao Chuing, we'll start talking about something, and it always inevitably goes into the route of copyright, into the
Yeah.
route of touring, into the like somehow or the other. Whenever I'm talking to Ao Chuing, we end up talking about everything we just spoke about right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had this we had this uncanny ability to just like go off on a tangent and reach this point somehow.
I mean, that's what's on the back of our minds. So,
Yeah, then
Yeah,
you can even
embrace.
like like go perform for Bhutanese abroad, like Australia, US.
mm,
Perform for the
Yeah.
like South Asian, Southeast
yeah.
Indians, maybe in Nepali people might be watching your content. More. I
Mhm.
scope this
Yeah.
perform
I mean,
perform
right now they already do that,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
they do send Bhutanese artists to Australia, uh, but I don't see a lot of modern artists going. I think Misty Terrace was by far the most modern artist I saw who went to perform in Australia.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it's mostly like the BFAG singers, no? Isn't it?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
Probably.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know
This
what.
generation needs to think now. He has to move on now. You guys have to have to be the pioneers now. They can be the trailblazers, but you have to be the thing now. The guys who take the torch and set a blaze. My God.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's see.
But right now they more like in this current climate, like from your like music, like from composition to now you release it, and now whether it be from like performing here and there or you selling your music by some producer. So how
Mm.
do you like where do you like get most like of your income from like in terms of music wise?
Uh, I think so far for theme songs,
Mm.
and ads.
Okay.
So marketing and music do really well together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like jingles, which are more.
jingles and then just ads, really whatever you can do with the song and do with the video.
Okay.
Um, that's been good so far.
Mm-hmm. How about it like the music videos you release? No, is it like some will get a lot of views? No, like is there any like
Mm.
profitability as like that kind of like a YouTube music video kind of? Is there a return on that?
I think for now, most artists work with three or four really established videographers.
Mm.
It's usually the accounts, and usually I don't think artists would.
I think everyone's clawing to get Ishil and Dup also.
But I
He's
think
really good.
like we had Rono on the pod a couple of pods ago, and then he did the same thing which we thought no, was like you hire the best guys, but then you upload it in your channel, no. But I think what
Yeah.
most artists they want is that the views they want to be out there,
Mm.
showcased in an established channel.
So yeah, so you would go for an established channel because
Mm.
it's more likely that your song is going to get more recognition if it's on Ishil and
But you're
Dup's
not gonna get
And
any,
he's got a really
YouTube channel.
good reach.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think his channel can reach the whole region, North India, Nepal.
mm, because
Yeah,
he's
so,
established himself, no. But then, like
yeah.
in terms of the views, it might be videos that probably most likely monetized, no. So in terms of artists, are they getting a benefit from that? If they that's what I'm thinking, Missy.
I'm not
This is
sure.
where contracts come into play, yo.
Yeah, I think some artists have their own channels. Like Missy Terrace definitely has one. So these guys are probably doing it in a very good way and making whatever they can for themselves. But I'm not sure about the rest. Personally, for me, I've just only started a YouTube account with YLM,
Mm.
so
So
I've never had.
going forward, are you going to release your music videos on your own channel, or are you going to go upload it on the big ones?
uh, on my own channel.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good step forward, Jurmey.
Yeah. I'm ready. Thank you for nurturing me. I'm ready to clap.
Yeah, yeah. But you guys
Oh,
also like, yeah, it's like a lot of things to do. Can you
Yeah.
want to say something?
no, no, no.
But
I
at the
wasn't.
same
I was
time,
just.
like I'm very grateful to all of these channels that I've been on,
Mm-hmm.
um, and all the guidance I could get from all of them. So I think they're definitely like a launch pad.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Now they become so good, but I'm really also amazed. Like in this like time span of like 5 years, music video has really leveled up in Bhutan.
Yeah, and I think that goes to Ishlendo, people like Ishlendo and also Jimmy Tenzing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People are getting really creative with the music videos that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
And
I want to see the same.
not just in terms of technicality, but also in terms of conceptualization.
mm, yeah.
Yeah, we are now. That's something. Younger people are getting more creative. Hopefully, it doesn't just stay with music videos. Hopefully, it goes into like documentaries, series, movies. With some and all that, it's coming up.
I
It's an
mean,
exciting time to be a creator in Bhutan now.
yeah,
Yeah.
even like Denker's Getaway, she has that mini doc, no? The mini documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah. The Mountain Girl and the Nomad.
The
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the girl and the nomad. Yeah, even that's like, I think it's a relatively young. Um, uh, what do you call the video maker, cinematographer?
This,
Cinematographer, yeah.
the DOP.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
relatively young one.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all very good.
and now it's it's affordable to be a creator. Yeah, like most of the creators in Bhutan, if not 900%, all using their iPhones or their phones to vlog.
Yeah,
Back in
yeah.
the day, I used to think, oh my god, if you want to make some videos, you need to get a nice camera, you need to get nice lighting setup. But now you just need a phone, you can just do all this shit now, and just learn how
Yeah.
to editing software. So you can do that on your phone also if you're like if you don't have a laptop.
And the softwares keep getting easier and easier, the apps. Like,
Easier.
Yeah, Premiere Pro, which I use to edit, you guys can like literally it takes 1 hour. You can learn all the basics to edit it. It's so easy.
Mm.
nice.
Okay. So, anyways, now we're going too much into this music content. Let's segue into something else. Let's talk about current affairs. What do you want to talk
Okay.
Hang
about?
on, wait.
Let's talk about current
Do you
affairs.
realize that we went on this chat tangent after we asked Jurmey about what she wanted to study, and she said gender studies, and then after that we just.
Yeah, oh yeah, we
Yeah.
forgot
How
about
did
it.
we end up here?
Let's go back there.
What is gender studies, Jurmey?
So I studied sociology and just a little backstory. In your final year, we're supposed to do a research on anything that falls under the umbrella of sociology. So I did my research on transgender population in Bhutan and the challenges they face in terms of education, employment, and health.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And I think the more interviews I did, the more I spoke to them, the more I realized that this is the subject I'm interested in. Uh,
Okay.
just, just a lot of people, even in the highest of education, they are not aware that gender is literally an unlimited spectrum, and you can be anywhere in between. Um, so,
So,
I, I,
yeah. So, do you believe that gender is a spectrum, or do you think it's like it's divided into two groups?
I think it's a spectrum because I mean there are so many people. If you even if you look at the animal kingdom, like there are so many different types of gender and sexual preferences, um, and I don't
Like the
understand how.
ocelot, that's asexual.
Yeah, so there and I can't understand all of it. I still can't, which is why I want to keep studying more. But I think as long as you understand it's a spectrum, uh,
Yeah, yeah. I also am kind of interested in this kind of stuff. Also, I watch a lot of like people talk about this on like from both
mhm,
sides. In America, it's a hot topic. So they have leftist view, a right
mm,
view. And I watched a Dr. Phil also kind of a documentary about this kind of stuff. So like, there's one people on the right. There's one guy, a very conservative person, who thinks like it's biologically you cannot be either a man or a female. No, it cannot be like that. And
Mm.
there's some left people who think like it's a spectrum, like you say.
Mm.
You cannot be specified into one group. But then
Yeah,
it really that's I wish there was a way we can just concretely say no, like Anavi,
I
just
think it's
I don't like it
not
being a subjective way.
it's not important to really know or say exactly what somebody is or what they might be doing. I think right now we first have to prioritize on advocating the fact that
Yeah.
everybody should be treated the same no matter what they are.
Yeah, that's what. If you don't mind me cutting in here, in Dave Chappelle's, of course, he's known for making fun of everything. Not, it's just that he makes fun of everything, right? And it's just that a lot of the really extreme LGBTQ community have sort of taken an issue with his jokes. But
Mm.
if you listen to his jokes, he makes fun about everything, and nobody seems to get pissed about the other stuff. It's always that one particular thing. But in his recent special, he actually talks about his transgender friend who committed suicide because she defended him, no? And one thing that I really liked what she had said was when he said, "I don't understand you," and she said, "I don't need you to understand me. I just need you to know that I'm having a human experience,"
Yeah,
which I
exactly.
thought was exactly what it is, It doesn't matter whether or not you understand that that person is this or that or whatever they say they are. It's more important to just be like, you're a human being at the end of the day. And much like myself, you want to be treated well. You wanted
Exactly.
to be treated with respect.
I think in Bhutan, nobody's really like intentionally discriminatory. Like nobody's like, "Kai che hanzume" and stuff. You know,
It
like
comes from a place of
No, there is
ignorance.
Doji Soma.
yeah. I mean, okay, no comment on this anymore. But
I'm not,
anyway, like
not touching that topic. Sorry, sir.
We're gonna
yeah,
touch on that topic later.
no comment, no comment. But I think if you are confused about what your identity might be, then go for it, explore. There's a whole world out there. There are so many resources that will bring you closer. If you don't care, then cool, just do what you're doing. And if you're a policymaker, know that there are a diversity of populations, groups in Bhutan with various diverse needs that you should probably listen to. I think that's all I want to do with my interest in gender studies.
Yeah.
Okay. Now regarding that, there's right now in the hot news right now in U.S. athletic sports is this one
Oh yeah,
swimmer. I
The
forgot
swimmer.
her name. She's a trans woman.
Lisa, Leah.
Something Thomas or something. I forgot. Must be
yeah.
butchering their name. I forgot. Apologies if anyone knows who they are. But
Mm,
basically, she was a trans woman. He's a man, very collegiate swimmer, very high, what you call fast swimmer. It should be sixth in men's, men's swimming. So she transitioned and she got allowed to participate in the college university high division 1 swimming race, and she won.
I need to use the bathroom.
So basically, what
Sorry.
people are saying is, like how can a person who's been genetically, biologically born a male compete with women? No, it's not fair, because if you look at biological structure, like of course men are going to have stronger limbs, more testosterone, all this kind of stuff. No, so I just want to know, like, since you brought this topic up, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think it's fair? Do you think like we should draw a line somewhere?
Um, I actually don't know much about sports at all, or how that might work.
Okay.
But as somebody who's interested, I'm just glad they're actually having a deliberation on it and working towards what might be more rational.
Okay, so basically, like I'll just give you like the fast-paced version is, so sports na build is like you cannot like imagine like a man fighting a woman, man, because obviously let's say both are conditioned, from the equally conditioned, but just because of genetics, we have two what you call hormones in our body. Once we're like 12 years old, whether a man or a woman, you get pumped into this kind of what you call hormones. So it's either estrogen or testosterone. And testosterone is going to make you more
Yeah.
stronger. It's going to build more muscle mass. It's going to make your voice more, hoarse. It's going to grow facial hair, like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah. But at the
estrogen,
same time, I feel like if that trans woman had gone to compete with the men instead, um, she would still have less testosterone than the men. So it wouldn't be
yes,
fair over there either. So the whole problem here again leads back to the source of all the problems, which I think is the binary and being so rigid on that. Um, if it's confusing, then deliberate on it, start up a new category, whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, I think I would personally go with the idea that even in the Olympics, we have something called the Paralympics, no? For people
exactly.
who are living with disability, where they have their own sporting
You mean
events,
it's
right?
trans Olympics?
No,
So,
just
I
it
mean,
not doesn't have to be trans Olympics, but something
I
that
guess,
is inclusive and is just as
Equal playing
is
field.
just as equal,
yeah,
where
I think
where you're not lobbed into these two categories. I think is what Jurmey is also
if
basically
you
trying to
are
say.
trying to create a system where you only think of two categories, you don't think of more, then whether it's sports or music or any other industry or field out there, this kind of problem or contradiction will come up.
Mm.
So ultimately, stray away from the idea of the binary.
But then another thing in music actually, which I find like we should change by now is, we have like best male singer, best female singer, best male
Mm.
album, best female. I don't think we should have that anymore. We should just have best album, no, or like best actor. We should have best
Yeah,
female actress.
exactly.
Because in terms of sports, okay, you can divide like men's sports, they're certain degree different, women's sports certain degree different. But when it comes to singing, it's completely subjective. No, there's no like, oh, now he's a man, he's gonna sing 10 times better than a woman. It's not like it's gonna work like that. Also an acting man now.
So a lot of these categorizations, it just doesn't make sense. It's 2022, so it's good that we're reflecting on it.
I personally think award shows should be done away with. In all honesty,
But lo,
Oh,
award
I
shows
wow.
are
sometimes like I sometimes feel like award shows should be just done away with.
yeah, it's
Sometimes.
it's it's, it's like pageants, no pageantry thing. These
Yeah,
things are all
it's it's
dying
it's
away
it's
now.
like it's like a pageant. It is a pageantry, and yeah, I get it. Like it is like you are sort of, and it's just my personal thing with it. It's I've never agreed with award shows. I think every now and then, yeah, it's kind of cool to see like a movie, that you like getting an award, and it sort of does validate you because you like something. But at the same time, when you really think about it, it doesn't really. It's sort of meaningless in the grand
No,
scheme of
it's dying
things.
now. The ratings for like the Grammys and Oscars have been down for going descending for years and years because now the people, they don't want that kind of show. But back then, when people used to exclusively just watch TV, it used to generate a lot of views and then advertising money comes in and then blah blah blah. No, but now people
Mm.
like, when was the last time you watched the Oscars? Then I don't remember
I
Oscars.
haven't watched it. I haven't watched the Oscars even once. I just
No,
usually see the news the next day.
I used to love it because I was such a movie buff. Now I want to see who won. But now it's become like an old thing. No,
But I will be watching this year
yeah, of course
for.
you got to check Lunana and
This
all
year
that.
is personal. It's a matter of personal pride, I
Yeah, but if
suppose.
you have to be realistic, most likely I think it's going to be Japan's Drive My Car. He has won a lot of, he's got good reviews. But who knows? Never know.
I
There's a
hope
chance.
we.
Hope. Then it'll change. I think it'll bring a lot of change in Bhutanese, how we look at cinema also. No?
I mean, whether
Yeah,
we
but
win,
anyway,
it's really brought us far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
Jeremy, uh, going back to you saying like you were studying the transgender population in Bhutan, I'm wondering if you're allowed to like tell us what you found in that.
Oh yeah, so I'm allowed to share my findings. Obviously, not the
Yes.
details
You don't
of
have to
where.
give us names of people and all that.
So I interviewed a few of them, and then in different age groups,
Mm-hmm.
and then I explored challenges in education, health, and employment.
Okay.
So if we start with education, not a single trans person that
Mm.
has gone to school in Bhutan has made it past high school, and that is actually because of firstly the structural uh, discrimination, which is literally the bathrooms,
Mm-hmm.
the hostels, all of the assaults, all of the bullying,
Mm-hmm.
lack of education. There's been a lot of sexual assault as well in schools. Um, and also, there's a lack of understanding from teachers. So, I have heard from a few of my respondents that they were treated quite harshly,
Okay. Really?
publicly,
So.
like embarrassed in public, forced to do different things, forced to keep their hair long or cut their hair or what, just literally like Yeah, so none of them have made it to college, and they all resort to whatever job they can find.
That's
So then that,
that's interesting finding more.
yeah, and then that takes us to employment, where the form itself, like where you have to tick whether you're male or female, that itself is a huge, it's like that's the first step of applying for a job, and then you're already cancelled out at that. Uh, and because none of them have gone to college, they can't get really good jobs. And a lot of them, whether it's in school or college, hate wearing. I mean, they can't wear a go or a kira if they don't associate as a male or a female. You can't make me go somewhere where go,
Yeah, yeah,
So a lot of them resort to jobs where they can wear the clothes they prefer. So a lot of trans men, go to the military. They try to go to police, join police or army, but they can only get the lower rank since they never finished. They couldn't go training. Their high school wasn't well done. And then a lot of trans women resort to working in dryangs
sex
because
workers.
that's the only place where they can put on a kira and feel pretty, and do their thing. So
Yeah.
like in drawings closing down, a lot of them have really struggled. Uh, and then in terms of health, oh my god, a lot of them couldn't even go visit the hospital because there was a lot of, I
Stigma.
think, discrimination, stigma. Yeah, so most of them didn't go, and especially for trans women. Um, they have literally been taking hormone pills acquired from Jaigong
Oh,
that
Yeah.
that they don't know what it is or whether it's good
Yeah.
for
Not properly medically approved. Right?
not prescribed, and they have zero information on it. Now, after COVID and Jaigong's been closed off, a lot of them have been resorting to things like
Contraceptive pills.
contraceptives. Yeah. So they don't know how it's affecting their body. They're not feeling very good. There's not really anybody they can talk to. But I heard
Talk to.
recently that MOH is starting is doing more work on trans health. So it's just very difficult, and nobody has. They all want to do surgery. A lot of them want to do the change, but there's no resources for it. So yeah.
so like, what do you think is something which we can do, which is something
Yeah.
that's doable?
Sorry, I'll be back. Somebody's at my door.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you
Uh,
think is something which we can
so
do doable? Yeah.
in my research, I've included certain recommendations, policy recommendations, directly targeted to the relevant ministries and to the relevant personnel out there. Firstly, to make if it's possible for them to recognize trans individuals, trans students who are just not comfortable, who are on the verge of quitting school because they don't want to put on. Can you mute?
I cannot mute Kinley. Yeah, it's damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right. Great. So yeah, in terms of education, I think I've literally just asked allow them to wear gore kira of the uniform that they've chosen. Create enough awareness. Just make sure that just do something so that the student does not get bullied in the bathroom. I heard when trans men go to the girls' bathroom, everyone runs away like, ah! And when the trans women go to the boys' bathroom, I think there has been quite a few cases of assault. So just
Yeah, that's
bathrooms. Yeah, like it's not much, just bathrooms. And then also if they could have incentives like scholarships and more for this population.
Sorry, I'm just trying to mute Kinley.
Yeah.
Kinley, I muted you because there was some background sound. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
All right.
Okay, Jurmey,
All right.
please go on.
Yeah. And then in terms of employment, I've asked if they could also allow people to wear go or kira to the offices, whatever they want. Like sometimes it's just that, and also to have some reservations for them.
Okay. So, but I feel
In all honesty, if I don't understand what is so bad about what is the problem with somebody wearing the opposite gender's clothing.
I mean, I can
it's
understand it would
cultural
come with a
thing,
shock. Yeah, it's
very
very
new.
new.
I feel
So,
like if you're a let's say culturally, if you're a
Mm.
man and you wear a kira, rachu, and you go to like say a zong, it feels kind of like you're disrespecting the cultures which is within Solomon. Maybe in that kind of
And
context also.
but
yeah,
how is that disrespecting? You're not wearing anything which isn't part of your culture. It's still part of your culture. It's your kira.
Yeah,
It's your
I,
go.
but
I
then
Just
think
because the person who's wearing it that you think is because it's a man who's wearing a kira, because you perceive it as a man who's wearing a kira
yeah,
or a
that's
woman
the
who's wearing
perception.
how yeah how does that, like, what difference does that make?
Okay,
Like, is it
let's hear from Jurmey.
yeah
I
sorry
think as a researcher, I understand that um, as somebody who's studying this field, I understand that you can't just bring it up to a culture who hasn't experienced it and then be like, here you go, understand it, and then they'd be like, okay, like
yeah,
that's not going to happen. So I think it's important that uh, what I'm doing with my research is literally just telling people, hey guys, this is what you think. This is what is happening. This is how this population is being affected. This is what you could do. Now it's up to you if you want to listen to me or not. But I have compiled the information and it's there.
Okay, another thing. I think by like what you just said, I think the first thing we can do is actually kind of educate our educators, Memena, that at least like these people, let them complete high school. If you're saying what you're saying, no one is completing high
it's
school,
it's
then that's a
it's
very like a
really
large number of
yeah
people not completing high school. So at least do something, like at least educate the teachers to let them be treated or being protected. Now I don't know about
Mm.
toilets thing because they could be another thing in terms of make a gender neutral toilet. Like another problem might be creating by making it
I mean, what to do is
uh,
up to the pros
yeah.
to figure out.
but
But
but I think the main goal should be like getting people like transgender community to finish high school at least, let them get to college, and after that then another opportunity comes up rather than right now we're trying to solve people majority maximum. You're saying all of them are not
mm,
employable because they don't have a collegiate degree
mm,
or skills to get
yeah,
employed, so they have to resort to whatever happens. No, and they don't get the information whether to buy the right health supplements to treat themselves. So it becomes like
exactly.
I feel like if you educate them, even the people, the transgender also, and also the educators, and if you get them to pass high school and get them to college, then they'll be responsible enough to make their own damn decisions.
So there are organizations such as Queer Voices of Bhutan, Rainbow Bhutan. So these organizations are working towards kind of looking after this population.
So are they
But at the
working
same
alongside with like Renew or NCWC or anything like that?
Uh, I'm not sure who exactly they've partnered up with, but they're doing a lot of work with the government, I'm sure. Uh, but at the same time, like kamchi ni bemiki gyura and then any policy gadebe yurura, it all boils down to people and their attitudes. Policy is merely a
yeah
reflection of ourselves.
no it's one thing about the teachers is that it's very like like see when I was growing up, I had the joy of having parents who were super supportive, right?
Mm.
So a lot of the times, especially for a lot of transgender people, they don't get that support from the home. So you would expect that you would at least get that support from the teachers. But when both, for a lot of them, when both their homes and their teachers don't give them that support, I can understand how it
Yeah,
can be a very it
Mm.
can be a very like destructive effect on a child, and
Yeah,
especially like you're talking about school, you're not talking about like an 18, not even a 20 year, you're talking about kids who are like 12, 13, 14 years old.
yeah, exactly. And
And
from my respondents, there have been teachers who have been supportive. There have been, like really good ones, but the stories of the opposite are just as harsh.
just as
yeah,
but then
So,
like what you're saying, no, it was not enough for them to complete high school, which is I think very disheartening. No,
yeah, what if some point?
if none of them you're saying you research and complete high school, that's some statistic you have to really take seriously.
Only one had completed their degree, because they were from,
A
a
better
more
family.
comfortable family. They studied abroad. So
Yeah.
everyone here in Bhutan, they didn't really go to college.
It's like really setting them back. Like first of all, like you're not educated, to a certain level to be employable. Then you don't have certain skill
and
level, and then you're being in part of a community which is like going to be, looked down upon.
it's a loss for the country if you think about it ultimately also
I mean,
because
right now it's just a time where we have to. understand it first and then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
used to
Yeah.
it.
Like I think we need to you need to talk about this more. Like whether
It's
we're
a good
talking,
time.
yeah,
It's a
whether we're
good time.
talking about this on a podcast or whether you're talking with your parents or your friends over some drinks, over some shit. No, we need to get these conversations, going. No, so at least people know about it. No, then you can start,
Yeah.
making the decisions. So that's a great thing,
Like
yeah, to talk about.
fundamentally, we are all citizens with rights.
Mm.
So just see how that's being applied to every person around you and be empathetic and sensitive enough.
I mean, don't be a dick at the end of the day. Try your best not to be a dick to
But
anyone.
I think
In
the
all
thing is,
honesty.
in our education system, no. But now we're getting education reform. I don't know how long that will take. But then again,
Mm.
we all grew up in an education system. I think, Jurmey, I don't know how long you studied in Bhutan. How long was it? Till
I was
class
here till class eight,
class
nine,
eight,
nine,
nine. Okay,
beginning
but
of
that's a
nine. Yeah.
very impressionable age. So we all know, no, like Kinley used to tell me stories like Kinley had hard time reading because of his eyesight, and Zonko Lebe used to, make fun of him. And then me also till like class, 11th, since I was Zonko, I had to take tuition because my Zonko reading and writing was very poor. And then my Zonko teachers, instead of supporting, like I had a few who were supportive, but I also had one asshole who made fun of my Zonko all the time. So we had this kind of asshole libis, and it was just like for me, it was just Zonko and Mukine was reading. But if you're someone who's like you can see their flaws, you can point them out. Like maybe you have a Patsampa community, you cannot pronounce properly, you'll make fun of them. If it's some Shashub guy, you cannot pronounce properly, again you'll make fun of them. Now if you're gay or you're obviously either a tomboy or a transgender, then you're going to be if you're going to get that abuse from students is one thing, but from teachers, maybe not. And we don't have the guidance counselors and all that shit which we see, which we need. So much education system reform, which is like Ministry of Education, like in personally, in my opinion, is like one of the worst ministries run ministries in the country. It has to change from there. And like
I think everybody is actually doing their part right now. It's just it's gonna take some time, and I'm glad with where things are heading, the trajectory of where it's heading. Um,
No, much like how we were talking about the copyright thing, you can't also just slam change in one go. It has
yeah,
to
exactly.
gradually build.
And one of my respondents, she has allowed me to reveal her name in my research as well. Is
okay,
Lichin Selde?
okay,
She's
Oh,
very
yeah,
famous, right?
yeah,
So yeah, so she actually had a lot of support from Ministry of Health and Education because she actually came out and then kind of communicated that she wanted to continue school and not wear a go and all of that, and she was allowed and supported,
mm,
and she has a very great career right now. She's
yeah, yeah,
doing great in entertainment.
yeah, yeah,
So I also interviewed people from the ministries in my research,
mm-hmm,
and all of them have only expressed that they would like to know how to do better, how to address it better. So I like where it's going.
yeah. I think I don't know how the kids are now these days being, like taken care of by the teachers or counselors. But then, like when I was in school, we didn't have any counselors there. If you had any problems, whether you're going through all your other, mental issues or whether you're going identity crisis to guide you, no. So hopefully, I think you can start there. Hopefully,
Mm.
class seven they'll go to be. This when you start questioning yourself.
no, and now it's going to be more like it's going to be a challenging thing, and because now with the internet and how quickly the world is developing, these challenges are going to get exacerbated. It's not going to stay the same. Like these challenges will not be the same today as they will be in the next, let's say, 2 3 years. And for that reason, I think it's very important also that people keep trying to adapt and keep abreast of what's happening, different ways to like tackle these issues. You can't stick to one formula, like one research paper that somebody wrote like 10 years ago and expect the theory that
Mm,
he or she wrote 10 years ago to work right now. Like people are going to change, the mindset changes, so you need to again adapt to that also. I think it's very important.
Have a dialogue. That's it.
yeah,
Yeah, talk. I
Everything will
think
be
it's
yeah.
really important.
A lot of
I mean,
things. I
I've
think.
spoken to a lot of transgender people, and they are some of the most like, they're very accepting for one thing. They're very open. They're very well. Those I've spoken to have been very
fine. They're very
confident.
hardworking.
They're very hardworking. Yes, they make inappropriate jokes, but who cares? Because I make the same jokes as well. So, but then that's the thing. No, at the end of the day, they're just people like us, and
Yeah, I think before we start to judge or
that's
have
what.
preconceived, notions of them, if
Mm.
we actually sat down and talked to them and figured out who they are, then maybe we can get an understanding of where they're coming from.
I think if every one of us could just be a little bit more sensitive and empathetic towards anybody that comes close to us in our circle, everything will be okay. Like honestly.
I think that's a nice way to end this pod, Kinley.
Yeah.
On a nice note.
Yeah. Good. We're not talking about anything else now.
So, Jurmey, thanks for coming in. And you wanna thanks for sharing us about a lot of range of topics about copyright to gender studies to Australian lingo.
Thanks for having me.
If
This
you
was fun.
if you have anything to plug, please anything to share, something about you can just do it now. We can yeah, the
Yeah. You
floor is
should plug
yours.
your YLM.
Oh yeah. Guys, you guys should check out YLM Yalama Studio on Facebook and Instagram if you want to see content that's relatable, fun, educational,
Mm-hmm.
and uh,
Your new
keep being
song.
like.
What about your new song, which is coming out? Check out. Stay tuned for that too, right?
Oh yeah, stay tuned for that too. Stay tuned for whatever is going to come up on YLM. So,
Cool. Okay,
and thank you
let's I
everyone.
think wrap it up.
Yeah. All right. So thanks for joining us today, Jeremy. It was fun talking to you. I enjoy these sort of conversations quite a bit, and I think Sai does too. And yeah, you can please like and if you like the pod, then like, share, subscribe. This is the first time I've ever said that. Like, share, and subscribe
Yeah,
Oh,
in
also press
one.
the ringing button also. Apparently, that's great.
Yes. Yeah. Press the bell icon to stay notified. And yeah, you can follow Jurmey on her socials. We'll give that down in the description. And you can follow me and Sai. We've got they'll be down in the description as well. And hopefully by the time this episode comes out, lockdown will be over. If not, then I suppose you'll catch us again next time with another guest on Google Meet. And yes, subscribe to Junor.
Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks again.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.